Hey guys, so I'm finally back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 must-haves for the first trimester. I'm actually like 20 weeks right now, so I'm kind of like late to doing this, but I thought I'd just do like a video and giving you like my little tips and tricks and all the products that I use to help me actually survive, because everybody knows the first trimester is like the hardest one to get through, and it's not a lie. So yeah, there ended up being quite a few things that I ended up needing to use for the first trimester, from like helping me with morning sickness, which I had a lot, to just like research and like finding out on baby tips and just like little things like snacks and stuff like that. So yeah, I wrote them all down and ended up coming up with 10, so I'm going to be giving you my top 10 must-haves for like surviving the first few months of pregnancy. I used to love watching these videos when I was in like the first few like months and stuff like that, just so I could get like ideas from other people, because as soon as you're into pregnancy it's like a whole new type of world and there's all this new information that you end up needing to find out. So I just ended up spending a lot of my time watching these type of videos, so that's why I'm doing this video for you today. So I hope you will like it, and I hope you can get like some decent information from it, and maybe I can help a couple of you out. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much, don't want to make the intro too long. I'm just going to get straight into the products and I can start giving you my little tips and tricks for surviving the first trimester. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the stuff that I use to help me through with morning sickness, because that was like the main symptom that like I struggled with most. Didn't get it really bad, but it was enough to be like, okay, I need to fix this. So the very first thing that I ended up getting to like kind of help it out a little bit was travel sickness bands. You can get like packs of them off of Amazon, so they're really cheap. So I've got the grey ones here, and these were like really good for like nausea. I don't think they were like too great for the actual sickness part, and there's only like so much they can do, I suppose, but these are really good when you're just having like a nauseous day and you just needed it to pass. So basically how it works is obviously just like a little band that you put around your wrist, and it has this little thing here, so you can tell it's like raised, and this basically like sticks into your wrist here where like the pressure point is, and it basically kind of like works as like acupuncture type of thing, if I'm getting that right. I might be a little bit wrong, but either way it's meant to like go into your pressure point, which stops your like sickness and nausea and all that type of stuff. So yeah, these were actually really good. Like I said, they were good to like get the nausea off and stuff like that, and just like stop it from being as bad basically. Yeah, so I definitely recommend these. Only thing I will say though is that like if you can find one that has a smaller like thing than this, then I definitely would go with that, just because there'd be some times where like I haven't placed it in the right position, and like it ended up feeling like it was a bit too tight when I wore it every day. Like I'd feel the pressure basically around my wrist. So that's the only thing that I would suggest, is like try and get like a smaller one, or maybe one with like a bigger band, because these are really small. So yeah, that's the only thing that I would suggest with them. So the next thing that I'm going to suggest is actually sweets, which sounds kind of weird, but if you're anything like me, I really don't like ginger. So with all of like the suggestions that you end up usually seeing, it's like have like ginger biscuits or like ginger ale and like ginger beer and all that type of stuff. But if you don't like ginger, it's not really gonna work that well. So obviously I had to look into some other options, and I ended up coming across these. I finished the pack, but I saved the box for you. So basically these are called Prego Pop Drops. They're like these little hard candies. They're pretty sour, and they come in like a few different flavours. And I don't know what it is, but these work so freaking well. Every single time that like I'd start feeling sick, I'd just take like one or two of these, and like the nausea would be gone. I don't know how it works, but there's something like in the sour part of it that makes your brain just like not feel sick anymore. So yeah, these were really good, but the only thing is that these were like pretty expensive. So obviously if like you were like me and you were like being sick all the time and you like sweets, so you end up eating more than you meant to, these are going to end up obviously like costing a lot. So I do have like some other options as well. Obviously the main thing that like actually helps is the fact that they're sour. So if you just get any like sour hard sweets like sherbets or something like that, they're going to work like more or less just as well, and they're going to be a lot cheaper. The only other thing that I noticed that works like just as well, especially if you don't like sour stuff, is actually like peppermint drops, or like anything peppermint. So I ended up getting a couple different ones. I ended up getting like glacier mints, because those were like the most like common ones I could come across, and I also got just like normal little tin of like peppermints and like all the different types of mint hard sweets. But yeah, those worked really well as well. Kind of like send signals to the brain to kind of just like stop the sickness. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting either sour sweets or peppermint sweets. Either one will work, especially if you don't like ginger. And then the next thing actually goes with the peppermint sweets, but this is something that like I still need even now. But another really good thing to help with sickness is actually peppermint essential oil. So again, how this works is just peppermint like sends signals to the brain to stop the sickness, and I end up using it in like an aromatherapy type of way. You can either like put a few drops on like a piece of cloth or something and then just sniff it, or you can be like me and you can kind of just like sit there and smell it. It's really strong, but it helps like a lot. I used to kind of do like a simultaneous thing of like sniffing this, having a sweet, and then like doing another thing, which will be the next product that I end up showing you. So yeah, this is just amazing. It just helps like anything at all. I also think that I read somewhere as well that peppermint helps like numb the stomach. I don't really know how that one works. I can't really remember too much. I've got a bit of baby brain. I'm pretty sure it was peppermint tea that I read that doing that. So yeah, this definitely works. I feel like it works in kind of the same way. So what I'd do was like, if I had like a bit of a funny belly before eating and I knew I needed to eat, I'd have like a few sniffs of this to kind of like numb myself, if it makes sense, eat, and then I'd be okay, and then I'd just have like a few sniffs of it afterwards, and it would like basically just like sort it all out. It was just like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but it does. So yeah, I definitely recommend peppermint essential oil if you're going to take anything off of this list for morning sickness. Yeah, this one was my favourite. Definitely something I'm going to be treasuring always and in my next pregnancies. Okay, so the next product that I'm going to show you is something that like I ended up using so freaking much in the first trimester. I don't know if like it was just me or whether it's like a common thing, but I ended up like suffering really bad with like hot flushes and stuff like that, and it would like make the sickness 10 times worse. And also when I was having morning sickness, I would just like heat up really bad, and it would just be like this really bad cycle of getting hot and then feeling sick. So what I ended up having to do and like basically lived with for the first few weeks was this little portable fan, and you basically just like put it around your neck, and like the fans kind of like face you, and you just turn it on, and it's got 3 settings, and oh my god, this was like a lifesaver. I really don't know what I would have done in the first few weeks without like having this. If I just show you without my hair being in the way, because I don't want it to get caught, but yeah, you just turn it on, you kind of just sit there, and it's all nice. I know you can't see, but yeah, it just helps like so freaking much. So yeah, this was like a really handy thing to have, because obviously you can get like the handhold ones and they're like obviously good, but obviously the downside to that is like you need to actually hold it. And if you're like me and you needed to have like the peppermint oil, or like you were doing something else, or like you were trying to distract yourself or like eat at the same time, obviously you need your hands. So this was like literally so freaking good. They're actually my mum's, so I don't know where like she got them from. Pretty sure they're probably off like Amazon or something like that, but I'll try find ones that are like similar to it, and I'll definitely like leave a link down below. Definitely loved having this in the first few weeks. Okay, so the next couple of things that I've put on the list I don't actually have like on me because I've run out, but the next thing that I've ended up having on the list is actually Coca Cola, which is really weird. And obviously I don't really suggest like drinking fizzy drinks throughout pregnancy or in general anyways. I'm not really a big fan of fizzy drinks, I can't lie. I know I'm weird. But there's something about Coca Cola when you're feeling sick which just like helps to like stop it or like ease it a little bit. I don't know if it's like the bubbles or like the chemicals or like whatever the hell it is in like fizzy drinks or Coca Cola. Basically my mum used to be a nurse, and she used to tell me that when she was on the wards and there'd be kids who were like constantly being sick, the doctors would give them like Coca Cola because of like the electrolytes or something like that in them. Either way, it would just stop them from being sick. So I thought that would like a logic would apply to me, and it kind of does, I can't lie. Don't know whether it's like a subliminal thing or not, but either way the fizzy drinks definitely like helped a little bit. Again, don't recommend doing it a lot, but if you do need something quick, it is a good little option to like help ease off the sickness a bit. And then the next product that I have, which again I don't have on me, is actually like little like snacks and biscuits and things like that. Again, like I said, I didn't like the ginger biscuits option and all that type of stuff, so I kind of felt like I was a bit scuppered for like the snack section. If you like look into anything, they always say like make sure you have snacks, like eat little bits and bobs, like don't let your stomach like get like empty, and I didn't feel like I had any of those options. So like, all the time I was letting my stomach go empty, and then the next thing you know I was feeling sick. So what I ended up having to find was like something that just worked for me, and like weirdly enough it ended up being like these little like yogurt snacks. I don't know why. I don't know whether it was like the calcium in it or whatever, or whether I just needed like a quick little like sugar boost or something like that in the morning. But what I ended up actually finding for me that helped was one, Yakults. Like having a Yakult in the morning actually really helped me. For one, it's like really good for you and your gut bacteria and all that type of stuff. But two, it was just something that was like really light, that like I was able to just digest slowly whilst I was like making breakfast or something like that. So yeah, those were really nice to have. But then I also ended up finding like these little yogurt biscuit type things. I feel like I used to have them in school and I never used to like them, so really surprised I actually like them now. But either way, they're basically like a little biscuit that have got like dried fruit inside and a yogurt coating, and I really like them. I love the strawberry ones. So yeah, those were like a little snack that I kept on having. And then I found the little like yogurt flakes, which I think are literally just the dried fruit in like the yogurt coating without the biscuit or anything like that. But yeah, both of them, absolutely love them. I'm still like obsessed with them now, in all honesty. And they help me so much in the morning, and obviously they're like a decently healthy snack as well, so it's like a win-win for all of it basically. So the next few products that I've ended up putting on the list are kind of like, I suppose, like self-care-y type ones, things that can like help you, and like informational type stuff. So the next thing that I've got on the list is actually something for stretch marks. So of course that's going to be some oil. I love using bio oil, but it is expensive, so I kind of just like use whatever I've got, whether that's like baby oil or like some other stretch mark oil that I end up finding. I don't feel like it really matters, just as long as like you're actually hydrating the skin. Obviously it might be like a bit too early for some people to actually be oiling themselves and stuff like that in the first trimester, but I feel like it's always like best to be on the safe side and just like help prep your skin a little bit and just give it some hydration and give it some oils and stuff like that, so that obviously when you do start stretching, your skin's going to be in a lot better position to actually grow. So yeah, like I said, I kind of recommend any oil. I've actually put my oil into like this little thing here, and I put like some rose petals and stuff like that. I guess you can use any herbs really, but I like using rose petals because they've got healing properties in them, and they've also got vitamin C, which obviously like again helps like hydrate the skin and stuff like that. So overall I just thought like rose petals and the oil together would be really nice. I did use lavender at the start, in all honesty, but someone told me that there's like a possibility that lavender can like help bring on the lactation early, and obviously we don't want that, so I did switch over to rose petals, and it's really nice, and it looks really pretty as well. So obviously it's going to be better to like put it on as much as you can every single day, because I kind of didn't. I kind of just like put it on like whenever I could remember, and I'm 20 weeks now and I do have like a couple stretch marks, so I like kind of wish that I took it more seriously and applied it more. So that's why I'm putting it in like the list of like the first trimester, so that some of you don't make the mistakes that I did. So yeah, I would just recommend putting it on like morning, afternoon, night time, or whenever you can. And it's also really nice to put it in a bath as well. It just like soaks into all the water and it kind of just like gets everywhere. So yeah, it ends up just making like a really nice bath, and obviously also oils you all up as well. So yeah, either way, oil is definitely a must-have. The next thing on the list that I'm going to talk about is probably a bit obvious, but I think it's kind of like needed, and that is having a water bottle. If you can, a glass water bottle as well. You can Google it, but there's loads of things with like plastic leaching into the water and all that type of stuff, and I don't want to take the risk, so I went out and invested in getting a water bottle just so I could be like as safe as possible with my drinking. And I've also got the metal straws as well, because obviously those ones are better. But yeah, you need to be drinking like as much water as possible, like in general anyways, but like throughout the whole pregnancy. So a water bottle is definitely needed. Obviously not everybody might be able to get a glass water bottle, but there's obviously other really good ones that there's like bigger water bottles, or there's ones that actually have like the times of when like you're meant to be drinking by and all that type of stuff. So yeah, either way, just need to stay hydrated, need water, need the water bottle. I then just have some vitamins on the list. Kind of like need to talk to your own midwife about this and do your own research, but I don't really like the multivitamins, so basically I just like went in and like did my own research on what like my body actually needed itself. I wasn't deficient in anything, and like I know that I can get most of the vitamins for like the food and stuff like that, which is obviously the better way. But there are 2 vitamins that I needed throughout pregnancy that are like really good for you. The first one is vitamin D. So I just got my little pack here. So yeah, vitamin D is obviously really good, especially if you're in the UK like me. Obviously we don't get enough sunlight, and obviously vitamin D is really important for like certain parts of the body and stuff like that, and especially throughout pregnancy. So yeah, I ended up just getting like a separate pack of vitamin D tablets, and they're 10 micrograms, which is just like the normal dose that like everybody should be taking anyways. But yeah, definitely recommend these, again, if you're like me and you're in a country where there's not a lot of sunlight and stuff like that. And then the next vitamin is obviously folic acid, which like most people should know about anyways. The only thing that I will say about the folic acid tablets is I didn't know this before, like I've only found it out like recently and stuff like that. But apparently the folic acid is actually like the synthetic version of like what we're meant to be taking, which is folate. So if you can get the folate tablets instead of the folic acid, because that will just be like a lot better for like the body and like actually getting the right things that we need. But yeah, those are just the 2 things that I recommend for vitamins. But again, you need to talk to your doctors and your midwives and do your own research on all that type of stuff. A lot of people do like prefer taking multivitamins and things, so it's all just down to personal preference with that one. And then the last couple of things that I'm going to suggest is like informational type stuff. So the first one is actually a book. This is my book here. It's called The Mama Natural Week by Week Guide to Pregnancy and Childbirth. And if you're a little bit like me and like kind of like the hippie type of naturally stuff, and just like, I don't know, like to be educated on like the things that aren't like the norm, then I definitely suggest this book. And to be honest, I suggest this book anyways, whether you're into that stuff or not, just because there's like a lot of information in here. If you can tell, it's like a really big book. So yeah, it basically just gives you like loads of information about the basic stuff at the start, and then it just goes into like the week by week updates on like how your baby's doing and how baby's developing and like your body and stuff like that. And then it also gives you like tips and like checklists and things that you should be doing that week. So yeah, it's just like a really good informational book, really. I definitely suggest it. Apparently she has a YouTube channel as well. I haven't watched any of her videos, but if you wanted to check her out before like buying a book or anything like that, her name's Genevieve Howland. So I can imagine she's got like a few videos on there, so you can probably see if it's like your type of thing before investing into the book. But either way, it was a pretty cheap book, so I'm gonna leave the link and stuff like that. I think I got it off of Amazon, I'm not too sure, but yeah, really like this book. And then the very last thing on the list, which is kind of like a little add-on actually, I feel like this is like the 11th thing now, but it's actually pregnancy apps. So there's 2 pregnancy apps that I've ended up loving. One I use more than the other, and then the second one is kind of like for like other little bits and bobs that it does. But the one that I love is called Pregnancy Plus, and it just like shows you like little updates of baby and stuff like that. Obviously it shows you like the sizes of like how big baby is. It gives you like a week-to-week update and little posts and articles and things like that. So yeah, it's really nice. Obviously it keeps you on track, and it's nice to just like see baby develop for like week to week. But then the other app that I really like is called Baby Center. Again, it just gives you like the week-to-week updates and stuff like that. But the reason I like using this one is because it's got a section on it that which actually lets you talk to like other mums who are pregnant at the same time as you. So it has like a little birth club. So mine's the July 2021 birth club there, and you can kind of just like scroll through all of the things. You can see, and like you can ask questions and stuff like that. So if there's anything that you like worried about, or you just want some like little advice or anything, like literally anything at all, you can write a little post, and then there's other mums who can see that, and then they'll like write things back to you. So it's just like a really nice way. So obviously one, connecting with other people who are pregnant at the same time as you, especially during COVID, but it's also like a really nice way to get opinions and advice from people who are like in the same situation as you. And obviously there's going to be some mums who are like second or third time mums and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just like a really nice little way to just like get involved with other people, get some advice, get some tips, and just like learn about your baby and all that type of things. So definitely suggest those 2 apps. And yeah, and with that said, that was the last thing on my list. So I hope you really liked it. I don't know whether this was like a long video or a short one or not. Obviously there was quite a few things that I ended up needing to get through, but they all really helped me. And they were like, I don't know how I would have survived the first trimester if I didn't have like all of these little things. They were just like really useful and just really helpful, and just like helped me a lot. So I'm really hoping that I can help some mamas out there who are expecting right now and just like need some advice and just like some ideas on how to actually get through these first few weeks. So I'm going to stop babbling. I feel like I'm going to start going on if I don't soon. So yeah, I really hope that you like the video. If you made it this far, comment down the word peppermint, because we all know how good peppermint is for morning sickness. And yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. I think it's actually gonna be me and my partner sitting down and letting you know like all of the baby names we love and might be using. So yeah, if you don't want to miss that video, obviously make sure that you're subscribed and you got your notifications turned on and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna stop babbling now. Hope you really like the video. I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye guys.